Dr. Samira Patel had always known that humanity's first contact with alien life would happen in the most unexpected way. But as she stood in the research station on Europa, watching the holographic display pulse with an impossibly complex signal emanating from beneath the moon's icy surface, she realized that even her wildest theories hadn't prepared her for this moment. The signal had first been detected 3 months ago by the automated drilling stations. What started as a faint electromagnetic anomaly quickly evolved into something that defied conventional physics. The patterns were too precise, too intentional to be natural phenomena. Commander James Rodriguez stood beside her, his weathered face illuminated by the blue glow of the hologram. "What do you make of it, Doctor?" he asked, his voice carrying the weight of 20 years of space exploration. "It's a language," Samira replied, her fingers dancing across the holographic interface. "But unlike anything we've ever encountered. The complexity suggests a civilization far beyond our current technological understanding." The research station, designated Frost Point Alpha, had become the focal point of humanity's greatest discovery. Teams of scientists from every nation worked around the clock, analyzing data and theorizing about what lay beneath Europa's frozen surface. The United Earth Council had managed to keep the discovery secret from the general public, but rumors were beginning to spread. As Samira continued her analysis, the signal suddenly changed. The rhythmic patterns shifted, becoming more focused, more directed. "Commander," she called out, her heart racing. "I think they know we're here." Before Rodriguez could respond, the entire station trembled. Ice cores taken from their recent drilling showed unprecedented changes in molecular structure. Something was happening beneath the surface, something that shouldn't be possible. Dr. Marcus Takeda, the team's xenobiologist, burst into the control room. "You need to see this," he said, his usual calm demeanor shaken. "The ice, it's transforming." They rushed to the observation deck. Through the reinforced windows, they watched in awe as the endless white landscape began to shift. Geometric patterns emerged from beneath the surface, creating intricate designs that stretched for kilometers. "It's not just a signal," Samira whispered. "It's an invitation." The patterns continued to spread, eventually forming a perfect circle 2 kilometers in diameter. As the team watched, the ice at the center began to liquefy, defying the extreme cold of Europa's surface. From the depths emerged a structure that seemed to be made of living crystal, its surface reflecting the distant light of Jupiter in impossible ways. Commander Rodriguez immediately initiated first contact protocols, but these weren't the scenarios they had trained for. The crystalline structure pulsed with internal light, projecting images into the space above it. They witnessed stars, galaxies, and mathematical equations that made their most advanced theories look primitive in comparison. "They're called the Crystalborn," Samira announced, her eyes fixed on the changing patterns. "At least, that's the closest translation I can manage. They've been here for millions of years, sleeping beneath the ice, waiting for us to evolve enough to find them." The revelation sent shockwaves through the station. Humanity had just taken its first step into a larger universe, but with this knowledge came a crushing responsibility. The Crystalborn hadn't just made contact, they had chosen Earth for a purpose. As the day progressed, more structures emerged from beneath the ice, forming what appeared to be an alien embassy. The Crystalborn communicated through pure mathematics and light, sharing glimpses of technology that could revolutionize human civilization overnight. But Dr. Patel couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't quite right. In the complex equations and stunning displays of power, she noticed patterns that suggested the Crystalborn were testing humanity. Every interaction felt calculated, designed to measure not just their scientific understanding, but something much more fundamental about human nature itself. Commander Rodriguez gathered the core team for an emergency meeting. "The United Earth Council wants answers," he said, his expression grave. "They're preparing for full disclosure to the public, but they need to know what we're dealing with." Samira stood up, her voice steady despite her racing thoughts. We're dealing with a species that has the power to reshape matter at will, Commander. They've mastered physics in ways we can barely comprehend. But they're interested in us for reasons beyond our technology. They're studying our responses, our decisions, our very nature. As night fell on Europa's endless winter, the team worked tirelessly to understand their new reality. The Crystalborn had arrived with an offer that would change everything, but as Samira would soon discover, every gift comes with a price, and some tests are designed to reveal truths we never wanted to face. The news of humanity's first contact spread across Earth like wildfire. Within hours of the official announcement, the world's attention turned to Europa and the crystalline beings that had emerged from its depths. Dr. Samira Patel found herself at the center of a diplomatic storm as she worked to bridge the gap between two vastly different species. The Crystalborn's embassy had grown into a sprawling complex of geometric structures that defied conventional architecture. Each crystal surface served as both a communication device and a window into their advanced technology. Their offer was simple yet staggering: they would share their knowledge of quantum engineering, faster-than-light travel, and energy manipulation. In exchange, they wanted unrestricted access to Earth's cultural database, art, music, literature, and most importantly, the history of human conflict and resolution. Admiral Victoria Torres, newly appointed by the United Earth Council as chief negotiator, arrived at Frost Point Alpha with a team of Earth's brightest minds. "They're offering us the stars," she said during their first briefing. "But we need to understand why they're so interested in our culture." The Crystalborn's primary representative, a being they called the archival mind, manifested as a shifting crystalline form that communicated through patterns of light and mathematical equations. Through Samira's translations, it expressed particular interest in humanity's capacity for both destruction and creation. "Your species fascinates us," the archival mind conveyed through a complex series of light patterns. "You create beauty from chaos, find order in discord. This is rare among sentient beings." Marcus Takeda, who had been studying the Crystalborn's biological structure, shared his findings with the team. "They're not just advanced, they're ancient. Their cellular structure suggests they've existed for millions of years, possibly predating Earth's first multicellular organisms." As negotiations proceeded, the Crystalborn began sharing small pieces of their technology as gestures of good faith. A medical device that could repair cellular damage at the quantum level. A power source that could provide clean energy for an entire city. Each gift came with demonstrations that left Earth's scientists in awe. But Samira noticed something troubling in their interactions. The Crystalborn showed particular interest in humanity's darkest moments: wars, genocides, environmental disasters. They analyzed these events with an almost clinical detachment, measuring humanity's responses to crisis and conflict. During a private moment with Admiral Torres, Samira voiced her concerns. "They're not just studying our history," she explained. "They're assessing our potential for violence and our capacity for redemption. Every piece of technology they share seems designed to test how we'll use it." The Admiral's expression hardened. "You think this is some kind of experiment?" "I think it's more than that. The mathematical patterns in their communications, there's a recurring sequence that suggests preparation. They're preparing us for something, but I can't determine what." Their conversation was interrupted by an urgent alert from the station's sensors. The Crystalborn embassy was emitting new energy signatures, patterns that hadn't been seen before. As they rushed to the observation deck, they witnessed a spectacular display. The embassy was generating a field of pure energy that extended into space, creating what appeared to be a window to another dimension. The archival mind's next communication sent chills through the station: "Your species stands at a crossroads. The knowledge we offer comes with responsibility. Not all civilizations are ready for such advancement. We must be certain." Admiral Torres stepped forward, her voice firm. "Certain of what?" The response came in a burst of mathematical equations that took Samira hours to decode. When she finally understood their meaning, her hands trembled as she delivered the translation to the Admiral. "They're not just testing our scientific capability," she explained. "They're testing our species' worthiness to join something much larger, a coalition of advanced civilizations that spans multiple galaxies. But first, they need to know if we can handle the truth about our place in the universe." As the implications of this revelation sank in, a new message appeared in the station's systems, coordinates to a location deep beneath Europa's surface, along with an invitation that would force humanity to confront its greatest fears and highest aspirations. The Crystalborn were ready to reveal their true purpose, but the price of this knowledge would test the very foundations of human society. Deep beneath Europa's surface, the truth waited in chambers of living crystal. Dr. Samira Patel led the expedition alongside Admiral Torres and a select team of Earth's representatives. The Crystalborn had created a network of tunnels through the ice, each wall embedded with technology that defied human understanding. The archival mind guided them through structures that seemed to pulse with internal light. As they descended deeper, Samira's quantum sensors detected energy readings that shouldn't have been possible. The temperature rose steadily, despite being kilometers below Europa's frozen surface. "What you are about to witness," the archival mind transmitted, "is the reason for our presence in your solar system. We are not merely observers, we are guardians." The tunnel opened into a vast chamber that stretched beyond human vision. Suspended in its center was a massive crystalline structure, different from the others. This one pulsed with dark energy, its surface rippling like liquid metal. 3 million years ago," the archival mind continued, "we detected a signal from the void between galaxies. A species we call the Voidborn, beings of pure entropy who consume civilizations. They are approaching your galaxy." Admiral Torres stepped forward, her face illuminated by the crystal's dark light. "Why didn't you tell us this immediately?" "Because knowledge of extinction breeds either despair or desperate violence. We needed to understand how your species handles existential threats. Your history shows both remarkable resilience and devastating potential for self-destruction." Dr. Marcus Takeda's instruments began registering unusual readings from the crystal. "This structure, it's not just storing data. It's containing something." The archival mind's form shifted, expanding to encompass the chamber. "This is a quantum prison, holding a scout of the Voidborn. We captured it before it could report back to its kind. But they will come, seeking their lost one. We estimate you have 50 Earth years before they arrive." Samira's translation matrix struggled with the complex equations that followed, but the meaning was clear. The Crystalborn weren't just offering technology, they were preparing humanity for war. Each gift they had shared was a piece of the defense system they believed Earth would need. Lieutenant Raven Williams, their security specialist, spotted something in the crystal's shifting surface. "There's movement inside." The team watched in horror as a dark shape pressed against the crystalline barrier, a form that seemed to absorb light itself. The creature's presence triggered primal fear responses in their minds, despite the containment. "Your species must make a choice," the archival mind declared. "Accept our guidance and join the Galactic Defense Network, or face the Voidborn alone. But be warned, our help comes with conditions that will fundamentally change human society." Admiral Torres maintained her composure, though her voice carried the weight of the moment. "What conditions?" "Unity. Absolute unity. The Voidborn exploit division. They turn species against themselves before striking. Humanity's greatest weakness is its fractures, political, ideological, social. To survive, these must end." The implications hit Samira like a physical blow. The Crystalborn weren't just offering advancement, they were demanding humanity overcome its most fundamental challenges. Global unity wasn't just a lofty ideal anymore, it was a survival requirement. Dr. Takeda's instruments suddenly blared warnings. The quantum prison was experiencing fluctuations. The creature inside had sensed their presence and was responding. Its movements became more aggressive, more purposeful. It knows you're here, the archival mind transmitted urgently. It's analyzing you, learning. This is why we test species before revealing the truth. The wrong reaction now could be catastrophic. The dark form in the crystal began to take shape, something that violated the laws of physics and biology. Its movement suggested intelligence, but of a kind that human minds couldn't comprehend. The team watched, transfixed, as it pressed against its prison walls with increasing force. Lieutenant Williams raised her weapon instinctively, though she knew it would be useless against such a being. How do we fight something like that? Not with weapons, Samira realized, studying the mathematical patterns flowing through the chamber. The Crystalborn's tests weren't just about technology. They were measuring our capacity for adaptation, for unity in the face of extinction. The technology they're offering, it's not just about defense. It's about transformation. Admiral Torres understood the implication. Humanity wouldn't just need to unite, it would need to evolve. The price of survival would be the end of human civilization as they knew it. The question was, would Earth's nations accept such radical change, even in the face of annihilation? As if sensing their dilemma, the imprisoned void-born entity released a pulse of energy that shook the chamber. The message was clear, time was running out, and humanity's next decision would determine not just Earth's fate, but potentially that of the entire galaxy. The emergency session of the United Earth Council was unlike anything in human history. Representatives from every nation gathered in Geneva while Dr. Samira Patel presented evidence of humanity's impending crisis. The Crystalborn's warning, along with quantum recordings of the imprisoned void-born entity, left the chamber in stunned silence. Admiral Torres stood at the podium, her voice steady despite the gravity of her words. The choice before us is simple, though its implications are not. We must achieve true global unity within decades, or face extinction. The council erupted in chaos. Economic superpowers argued over resource distribution. Military powers debated the surrender of nuclear arsenals. Developing nations demanded equal representation in the proposed unified government. The Crystalborn's technology could end poverty, disease, and climate change, Samira explained. But they'll only share it if we prove we can function as one species, not competing tribes. In orbit, the first signs of transformation were already visible. The Crystalborn had helped construct a quantum defense grid, its crystalline nodes glinting in Earth's atmosphere. Each installation required unprecedented cooperation between nations that had once been enemies. Dr. Takeda's research team made a breakthrough in understanding the Voidborn's nature. They're not just aliens, he reported to the Council. They're living entropy, seeking to return the universe to chaos. Our very existence, our order, our consciousness, offends them. Lieutenant Williams, now heading Earth's unified defense force, implemented training programs that merged military discipline with the Crystalborn's philosophy of collective consciousness. We're not just preparing for combat, she insisted. We're learning to think as one entity while maintaining our individual creativity. The transformation wasn't without resistance. Underground movements claimed the Voidborn threat was fabricated, a plot to establish global control. Others embraced extreme measures, forming cults that worshipped either the Crystalborn or the Voidborn. Samira worked tirelessly in Europa Station, decoding more of the Crystalborn's quantum language. Each discovery revealed new layers of their plan. The technology they offered wasn't just advanced, it would fundamentally alter human biology, allowing for a type of collective consciousness that maintained individual identity. They went through this themselves, she reported to Admiral Torres. Their crystalline form isn't their original state, it's what they became to survive their own encounter with the Voidborn. The imprisoned Voidborn entity grew more active with each passing day. Its movements suggested it was learning, adapting, testing its boundaries. The Crystalborn reinforced the quantum prison, but their concern was evident in the complex mathematical patterns they shared. A breakthrough came from an unexpected source. A young programmer from Kenya developed an algorithm that could predict void-borne energy patterns. Combined with crystal-borne technology, it offered a way to detect their approach across vast distances. The discovery proved what the crystal-borne had claimed: humanity's greatest strength was its diversity of thought, but only if unified in purpose. Admiral Torres called an emergency meeting when the defense grid detected the first anomaly, a distortion in space at the edge of the solar system. "They're not waiting 50 years, she announced grimly. "They're coming now." The archival mind's response was immediate and unprecedented. The entire crystalline embassy on Europa began to transform, revealing technology they had kept hidden. "You are not ready," it transmitted, "but you have shown enough potential. We must accelerate the process." As humanity faced its greatest challenge, the truth became clear: survival would require not just unity, but a complete reimagining of what it meant to be human. The Crystalborn's final gift was a choice: remain as they were and face certain extinction, or embrace an evolution that would forever alter the course of human history. The void between Mars and Jupiter erupted with dark energy as the void-borne vanguard emerged. Earth's quantum defense grid pulsed with crystalline light, its networks humming with the combined consciousness of humanity. Dr. Samira Patel stood in Europa Command, watching as 50 years of preparation faced its ultimate test in mere hours. The void-borne ships, if they could be called ships, moved like tears in reality itself. Where they passed, the fundamental forces of physics began to break down. The imprisoned scout in Europa's depths resonated with its approaching kin, its movements becoming increasingly violent. Admiral Torres coordinated Earth's unified response from orbital command. Humanity's transformed fleet, crystalline ships piloted by crews linked in consciousness, moved to intercept. The Crystalborn's embassy had become a fortress, its entire structure reconfigured into a quantum weapon of unprecedented power. "They're attempting to communicate," Samira announced, decoding the void patterns. The message chilled her: return to chaos. It is your natural state. Humanity's response came not from any one leader, but from the collective will of the species, transmitted through the quantum network: we choose to remain as we are, unified, ordered, alive. The battle erupted across space. The void-borne weapons were entropy itself, breaking down matter at the quantum level. But humanity's transformed ships, enhanced by crystal-borne technology and powered by unified consciousness, held their own. Each crew functioned as one mind with millions of perspectives, adapting and responding with impossible speed. Dr. Takeda's research proved crucial: the void-borne couldn't comprehend or counter human creativity when it was unified in purpose but diverse in execution. Every ship, every weapon, every tactic reflected a different cultural approach to the same goal: survival. The imprisoned scout began to resonate at frequencies that threatened to shatter its quantum prison. The archival mind made a desperate decision: the prison must be converted to a weapon. The scout's own entropy can be turned against its kind. Lieutenant Williams led a strike team into the depths of Europa. They would have one chance to reconfigure the prison's crystalline matrix. The process would require perfect synchronization between human consciousness and crystal-borne technology. The space battle reached its climax as the void-borne launched their master stroke, a wave of pure entropy that began unraveling the fabric of spacetime itself. Earth's defense grid caught the wave, its crystalline nodes straining to maintain reality's coherence. In Europa's depths, Williams' team completed the prison's reconfiguration just as its walls began to fail. The scout's entropy surged outward, but now controlled, focused, guided by the combined will of humanity and the Crystalborn's technology. The weapon fired, a beam of controlled chaos that cut through the void-borne fleet. Their own nature, their own entropy, turned back upon them. The effect cascaded through their ranks, each ship unraveling as the fundamental forces they sought to destroy were weaponized against them. The battle ended not with a bang, but with the restoration of order. Where the void-borne had been, stars shone again in undisturbed space. The quantum defense grid hummed with residual energy, its crystalline nodes glowing with humanity's unified triumph. The archival mind's final transmission carried notes of both pride and warning: you have passed the test that many species failed. You kept your creativity while finding unity. You faced entropy with order, chaos with cooperation. But remember, you are not the first to defeat a void-born vanguard, and they will return stronger. Your true test is maintaining this unity in peace. As celebrations erupted across Earth, Samira stood in Europa Command, watching the transformed ships return home. Humanity had changed forever, not just technologically, but fundamentally. They were still human, still individual, but also part of something greater. They had proved that unity didn't mean uniformity, that cooperation didn't require the surrender of identity. The stars seemed brighter now, the void between them less empty. Humanity had taken its place among the guardian species of the galaxy. The Crystalborn's embassy began to dissolve, its purpose fulfilled, but its legacy would endure in the transformed civilization it had helped create. Earth's next chapter would begin not with fear of the void, but with the confidence of a species that had faced extinction and emerged stronger. The universe held more threats, more tests, more possibilities, but humanity would face them together, forever changed but ultimately stronger for having proven that their greatest strength lay not in technology or weapons, but in their capacity to unite without losing what made them unique.